Hey there, everyone. Welcome to tonight's free training from the Institute for Arts Integration and STEAM. I'm Susan Riley. I'm the founder. I am so excited to be here. I just want to double check and make sure that all the tech is working, that all my friends are here, and that we're logging in. Hello, hello. This is great. All right, wonderful. It looks like we're good to go tonight. Excellent. So, if you are not aware, we are in the middle of our enrollment season for Arts Integration Certification. And there are so many questions that keep popping up about what do I do with a certification once I have it, right? So, kind of like what's the return on my investment for becoming a certified arts integration specialist? And I'm so glad that you asked because the possibilities are truly endless. But I've narrowed it down to the three biggest ones that we've seen that our alumni have pursued in the past. So if you're here tonight, be sure to drop a line in the comments so that I know you're here. Give me a wave. I'm happy to answer questions once we're done with the training. But I want to dig into the training right away because there's so much value in here for people who are interested in arts integration certification. Okay, so let's get going. So when we're thinking about our crafting the career, before we get started, I want to let you know a little bit about me and my career background. So I started out as a music educator for K-5 schools. I was in two different schools before I ended up moving into central office. At my second school, that's where we actually started arts integration, and I had found it during my graduate program, and I decided I would really like to start to use this program with our school, and my administrator was on board. And we started off with this teeny tiny group of maybe 6 of us who were giving it a try. And by the time I was finished with that school, before I moved into my role at central office, we had built an award-winning program for arts integration that continues to this day. I'm so extremely proud of that. From there, I ended up, as I said, moved into central office to become the arts integration specialist for an entire county in the state of Maryland. And so I went from building a program at a school level to building it at a district level, which was very exciting, but also overwhelming. And from there, I was documenting my process, and that's how the Institute was born, was a way for me to just kind of showcase what was working, what wasn't, and to share that with people as we went along. So that's my career journey. I ended up leaving central office and doing this full time. So I am able to impact so many more educators and students in this avenue than I ever was before. And so that's exciting for me, but that doesn't have to be your journey. And so what I wanted to do tonight was to highlight the journey of several of our alumni so that you could see what do people do once they've received this certificate. So I want you to think about the possibilities, okay? Don't worry about all of the little things that come in between, all the building blocks that we have to lay down in order to get to your final end result. We know that that's going to take time. But instead, I want you to think about all of the possibilities that could exist if you knew how to pull together two content areas in a way that were seamless and made it make sense. If you knew how to craft assessments that would assess both the arts and the content area simultaneously and equitably. If you knew how to develop professional development for adult learners that was engaging and kept them active and fully invested in what you were sharing. If you knew how to build buy-in, how to work with administrators, how to craft a budget, how to pull together your staff and community to develop a program that fully encompasses the whole school and has amazing results for students and teachers. Think about what could be possible for you if you knew how to do all of that. Because if you start today, a year from now, that is 100% possible. Think about all the skills that you could develop, just those things that I mentioned alone, what that could transfer into. All of the different ways outside of what you're currently doing that could open up just because you had those skills. So tonight, let me share with you what it looked like for several others and what they did for their journeys. Now, when we're thinking about possibilities, I want you to keep in mind several things that people typically ask. One, do arts integration and STEAM jobs exist? Well, 100% they do. There's everything from an arts integration specialist at a school level or a STEAM specialist at a school level to instructional coaches to arts integration curricular development opportunities in schools and outside of schools with organizations and museums. And there's also the opportunity for arts integration specialists to work with businesses, to work with community organizations, to work with nonprofits. There are so many opportunities. Over $2 million in the federal government has budget has been allocated for arts integration and STEAM specialists through 2024. There are jobs out there and they're gaining momentum. Now, why would you want to know how to do that? And why is there money being spent for these arts integration specialists? Because when we use arts integration effectively, which means that we acknowledge that you have to have dedicated arts time in order for arts integration to work, and that we're honoring both the content and the arts area equitably when we're teaching. When we use it effectively, we can see 10 to 15% increases in student test scores across the board. We see increases in student attendance, and best one yet, 20% decrease in disruptions. How many of us could use less disruptions in our instructional time, right? Just by using the arts integration methodology and the skills that you build in here, these are the kinds of results that happen as just as a byproduct of using arts integration in classrooms. That's why money is being spent here. Now, before I go any further, one of the biggest questions that has been coming up recently, and let me come back to you here for just a second. One of the biggest questions that I've seen coming up recently has been, does this replace arts teachers? Is this a way for schools to cut their budgets and eliminate arts teachers and just hire arts integration specialists? Well, number one, no, clearly, because the way that we teach arts integration is that students must have dedicated arts time, and they must be learning arts skills during that arts time from arts teachers. It's imperative that they learn those skills because you can't apply them in an arts integration lesson unless you've learned them previously. Just like you can't apply a math skill if you've never learned it in math class, right? So similarly, we need to have arts educators. We need to have dedicated arts time. Those arts educators and those arts classes really become the MVPs of an arts integration effort, right? So no, this doesn't replace our arts educators. In fact, it enhances and deepens what you're already doing. Number two, is this going to save a school district money? No, because mostly when you are working with arts integration specialists in a building, they're working as instructional coaches or as a specialist on staff. And that is actually not as cheap, quote unquote cheap, in terms of cost as a teacher salary on the salary scale. So it's actually more expensive to hire for arts integration. But there are schools that are doing it. As we can see on those slides, they're investing those dollars. And that's because when used correctly and used efficiently in the way that the research tells us, you can see incredible results. Okay, so that's why we're so excited about this program, because we teach you how to do these things and how to implement it correctly. Okay, so there are three main pathways that I've seen our alumni generally choose for career opportunities as an arts integration or STEAM specialist upon graduating. There's public sector work, there's private sector work, and there's grants and leadership. So I'm going to share each of them with you tonight. I'm going to share a showcase of an alumni who's done it, as well as how to go about doing each of these three pathways. That way, you can kind of start to think about what pathway would be a good fit for you. So let's start with number one, the public sector. So this is where a lot of us currently are as educators. If you're thinking about staying in a school or working within a school, even if it's a private or a charter school. I'm going to include that in the public sector because that's where we're currently sitting. And so if you're here, this is an option for you. This is for people who are looking to expand or extend your current opportunities. So lots of our alumni stay in the classroom. After graduation. They love the classroom, and going through the program has rekindled their love of teaching and of what they're doing. They just get to do it in a whole new way. So it's extending what you're already doing and deepening your practice, and it feels really, really good especially after the last several years, to be able to fine tune those things and get back into the classroom and see those light bulbs going off. Several of our alumni have created their own position. So what these alumni have done is that when they finish the program, they actually share their final portfolio with their administrator. And they do it in a really low-key, nonchalant way. They're just like, hey, I did this program this year. I just wanted you to see what we did. Take a look at my portfolio when you get a chance. I'll stop by in a week or so and pick it back up. And what has happened most of the time is that when an administrator goes through that portfolio, they start to see all of the ways that you have built your capacity and the potential for what that could look like in their school. And they get really excited about it. And so what happens is that our alumni actually get to pitch for their own position. So when they come back to pick up their portfolio, the admin is like, oh my gosh, could you do that here? Could you possibly do this arts integration work here and be the lead for our school? And they end up getting their own position at their school simply because they pitched it, because they shared their work. Another opportunity for many of our alumni is that they've taken the next step in their career from where they are. So they've become a team leader, a coordinator, or another leadership position in their district because they've had these skills and they've learned how to work across the board with teachers, admin, and parents. So I want you to meet Allison Greenhouse. Allison is a level 1 arts integration specialist. She is an art teacher at multiple schools, except that this year she actually started a new job as an arts integration specialist for her district. So she pitched this position to her district. She shared all of the work that she did in certification. Her district was so impressed that they made her the arts integration specialist for their district. She actually gets to work with multiple schools in this capacity as that arts integration coach and specialist for teachers, and she's having a blast. She will tell you that she is living her dream life right now because this is exactly what she was passionate about and is excited to bring it to so many other teachers and seeing those light bulbs go off as well. So this is just one example of somebody who's done this, but we have many, many alumni who fit into this category as well. All right. And shout out to Allison when, I know she's not here tonight, but when she does see this replay, I want her to pop in here and just give you a thumbs up because she is phenomenal. I love her. All right. So if this is you, if you're identifying with this option and you're like, yeah, this is one that I could resonate with, I could see myself pursuing, a couple of things. First, when you are seeking positions, use keywords like innovation, cross-curricular, 21st century to start searching to see what kind of positions are out there and available in your district already. You may not even know that they're hiring for these kinds of positions. So hop on their HR board, start using some of those keywords, see what pops up because you might already have something available that you could put your hat in for. Also, be aware of current funding laws like ESSER and ESSA funds because these are what's being used a lot to fund some of these new positions. And so we want to be aware of that as well as other opportunities for funding once those discretionary funds go away. And then also be open. Don't invest in the outcome, invest in the possibility. So when you are going down this road and you're like, I want to do this, I want to create a position in my school, or I want to go to create a position in my district, I want you to think about the possibility of what that could look like for you, not necessarily getting the job you think you want, because it might look different. The end might look different than what you can dream up, but that doesn't mean that there's not a possibility out there for the future. Invest in the outcome, invest in the possibility, not in the outcome. Okay? All right. Option 2, here's another option. If you're like, okay, I'm not really digging the school thing yet. Maybe you're a teaching artist and you're not really interested in being in a school, or you're in a school already and you need a change, and it might just be a change of scenery. It could be a total step out of education for a little while. We've had people who have done this as well. So they've moved outside of the traditional education system into a couple of different areas. Some very popular ones include museums or arts organizations, other nonprofits, as well as some for-profits who are seeking those who can make connections with schools. So this is a really popular one. Think about your local museum that could have docents that then work with local school groups that come in, and you can tailor the presentations to those school groups based on the curriculum that they're working on to make it super relevant for them as they're working through the museum, right? Or I know for a fact that organizations like Ford and Toyota, Crayola, there's so many other organizations out there and for-profits that are not just nonprofits, for-profit companies who are looking for people who know how to make those connections across the content and curriculum and have the connections in the vernacular to be able to work with schools, but not necessarily be in a school. So this is an option for you if that's something that you're looking to do. There's another option of curriculum writers. So publishers everywhere are seeking educators who can write cross-curricular materials. Fun fact, I'm in the middle of working on a book with a major publisher. I can't release it just yet. But one of the deciding factors of the reason why the publisher is so interested in my book is because I can make connections beyond just one content area, right? So it's applicable to so many others. You can do this too. And then also consulting or presenting. So you could develop your own business or present at national or international levels as an expert just by going through this program. And this one's great because all you need after certification is to book one consulting gig, just one, and you will pay for your entire certification tuition. Just one. And you'll have money left over for a really nice airfare and a hotel room for yourself, maybe a little getaway. So I'm telling you right now, this is such a great opportunity for people who are looking to share what arts integration could be for so many others. So I want you to meet Marwa. Marwa is a level 1 arts integration specialist. She graduated in 2022. She started her own successful consulting business shortly after graduating our program. And as part of this consulting program, she created an online course for teachers in the Middle East who are looking to use arts integration but are unfamiliar with the process. As such, her business has exploded. She's been doing some amazing things with the educators in the Middle East, and she's now being able to work with organizations and companies as well. She's been able to expand her consulting business simply because she was able to take what she learned and distilled it down to work with her audience. So I'm super proud of her. She is amazing and such a great entrepreneur, but also an amazing educator in person too. So if this resonates with you, if you're like, ooh, that sounds like an opportunity I would like to explore, I want you to think about your next steps. So first you would start with enrolling in the program. So you're going to apply for Arts Integration Certification. Once we're done here, right, you're going to go over to that page, think about applying, fill out your application and get that in. Then once you enroll in the program, you're going to be able to plan and create for your next step. So when you're going through the process, you're going to be able to think about, okay, how am I going to apply this to what it is that I want to do next? And then as part of your bonuses, I even have a career options section that outlines how do you legally set up an LLC? How do you get started with a consulting business? What does taxes look like? I've got all of that spelled out for you in a nice little bonus if this is the option that you want to pursue. So a couple of things. If you're seeking a job outside of education, use the word STEAM. STEAM has transversed from just education to the worldwide vernacular. So people know what STEAM is. When you say arts integration, I mean, it tells you what it is, arts integration, but it's not as commonplace as STEAM. So when you're looking for a job with a nonprofit or another organization that is not educationally based, use the word STEAM. Also explore the areas of curriculum companies, tech companies, automakers, government, and healthcare. All of these areas have access to arts careers and arts integrated careers that are growing, especially healthcare. There's an entire new field called neuro arts out there, and this field is totally seeking people who know how to make these connections. My next tip for you is to create a website and an email list. Get that email list going now, even before you get certified, so that once you are certified, you can come out to your email list and with your website with that credential and say, hey, I'm open for connections, networking, sharing with you how we can bring this to your school or your district, and then start thinking about getting your legal stuff sorted. So whether it looks like an LLC or an S corp, your W-9, your insurance and accounting, these are the kind of things you're going to want to set up if you are looking at building a consulting business of any kind. And it takes time. So again, I have a complete bonus available for people who want to pursue this option in our program that you are able to use to set this stuff up while you're going through certification, so that there's no time lost. And once you get certified, you're off to the races. All right. Last but not least, option number 3, grants and leaders. So this is when you're designing opportunities for the future. So when we're in here, we're thinking about careers like a grant writer or an implementer, somebody who's an instructional coach or a district level leader, perhaps a program specialist. These are careers for people who are looking to maybe step out of the classroom, but they aren't yet ready to leave education as a whole. So grant writers and implementers write grants for arts integration and STEAM initiatives, and then they oversee them upon award. Remember, I said there's over $2 million that has been budgeted for up through 2024, and still more is being added. We just got word yesterday that there's a grant for about $1 million out in the Midwest that is being cultivated right now, specifically for arts integration. So these happen all the time. And lots of times those grants need implementers in order to oversee that and make it happen. So that could be an opportunity for you as well. Another option for that instructional coach is for people who like to support and coach others who are also using cross-curricular approaches. Instructional coaches are very, very popular in schools right now. And you can leverage this to connect with other initiatives that are going on, like if it's PBL, or if you're doing Project Lead the Way, or if you're using the new structured literacy, and trying to make connections there so that it's not overwhelming for teachers. Or you could become a program specialist. So this is when you work at the state level to develop programs that support schools across your area using arts integration. One of our alumni, Sherry Hatton, just this past year became I think a music coordinator for the state of Virginia. So she went the program specialist route and has already used her expertise in arts integration for some curricular opportunities that she's working on for the state. So it is a possibility. Remember, invest in the possibilities, not in the outcome. So I'd love for you to meet Kelsey. Kelsey is an arts integration specialist and a STEAM leader. She's gotten certified in both areas with us. She currently oversees a $12.8 million grant for Beaufort, South Carolina schools. And she is rocking that position. She is working on building, scaling, and sustaining a STEAM effort from scratch. And so she's taking the work that she did in arts integration certification when she just graduated last year and has already started to implement that out to the many schools in her district that are utilizing this approach now. She oversees that whole grant process. She's working with the schools to make sure that implementation is going well. And she's just doing a phenomenal job. I'm so, so proud of her. So if that is an option that you're considering, if you're like, oh, I like the grant idea or I like becoming the program specialist, a couple of things you're going to want to think about. Yes, you're going to want to enroll. Then you're also going to want to research what's out there and what potentially is coming down the pike. So looking at that pipeline, that grant pipeline, and what you might be able to offer for those schools or districts or organizations that are looking to use that grant funding, as well as how do we then implement those things. So for you, I would have some key tips of becoming familiar with grant cycles, seasons, and listing organizations. Go do your research. Know what grants are going to be coming available, how often are those grants available, what time of the year do those grants become available, and where are they listed? And then write grants with these items in mind: the outcome, the time frame, and the total budget. If you can keep those three things central to your project, you have a much greater outcome of receiving that grant. And then also consider, if you're working on grants or working with people as an instructional coach or as a program specialist, think about utilizing adult learning theory whenever possible. You want to start small. Don't try to attack everything all at once. Think one-to-one, one-to-one coach to teacher, one-to-one teacher to student. Try to work through that process first. Start small and then expand it over time. But definitely start to consider adult learning theory. Now, if you have never heard of adult learning theory, or if you need to brush up your skills there, we talk about this quite a bit in the Arts Integration Certification Program, so you'll be well prepared for that if this is an option that you were excited about. Now, I do have a little bonus option for you, which is a combination. So this is when we pull together multiple options and you kind of see some superstar status going on, which means here are two of the different combinations that we could take a look at. Authors. Several of our alumni have gone on to become published authors. They've written and published books or research that are guiding other educators in this area on how to integrate the arts, which is fantastic. So, while you can self-publish, our alumni have actually gone on to receive publishing contracts, book deals, in order to share this with others. So that's exciting. You could also become an award winner yourself. You could become recognized by national and international organizations for your work, which then just allows you to have an even greater impact. So let me show you some people who have done this. Shauna Longo just received the CMA Music Educator of the Year award. She was along with several other music educators, but that was her highlight from this year. Since graduating this program, she has become Teacher of the Year for her schools, for her county. She has gone on to consult with major organizations, including Hal Leonard, and some others. She has gone to, I think she consults for NAM as well. She's gotten the CMA award, and she's also become the district coordinator for visual and fine arts for her school system. So she started out as a music educator, and she's done all of this since then. She's also written a book on how to use music and STEAM together. And it's just a phenomenal resource. So Shauna is a rock star. She's combined a lot of the options together to create all new opportunities for herself. Kate Sherry has taken her time after the program to create some amazing research. She's done a lot of research on STEAM and how it's been impacting students and staff and teachers, and she's had a lot of that published as well. Kate Sherry is like a rock star. She is we call her like the astronaut of our program, because she had worked with NASA at one point. Like she is amazing, and she's also very left brain. She thinks a lot, very analytically, right? But she was able to take what she learned in the program and apply that to her research, and even further the field by extending that research and sharing it with others. And then there's Sheila Garth. Sheila is a school counselor who graduated our program several years ago. And I believe she's level 1 and level 2 as a specialist. And Sheila was also published as an author. And she's also gone on to start her own company, her own tech company, on building an app for students to share how they're feeling through the arts. So she's taking what she's learned and she's developing it into a whole new app that's never been seen before. So I'm telling you, if these people that I've shared with you tonight, if they can do it, you can too. And I want you to think about what you can imagine for yourself. This is really, really powerful because you really are only held back by what you can imagine for yourself as your own possibility. What I shared with you tonight was just a snippet of the hundreds of alumni that we have had go through the Arts Integration Certification Program and the impact that those educators are making on schools and districts and students and parents and the world every single day. And I would love that for you too. So I want you to think about this. If you decide to start today, if you start right now and you start thinking about what can I imagine for myself, what possibility, if these people can do these things, what possibility could exist for me? Here's that roadmap. Here's what it looks like. You can start today and decide, I'm going to make this change. I'm going to apply for certification and start here and just open up the door to see what is possible next. When you start certification, you can work at your own pace because certification is a fully self-paced opportunity. So once you enroll and you get started, everything is available to you. The program is designed for you to complete within a year, but you have up to 3 years to complete it. So if life gets in the way, it's okay. You can hit pause, come on back, but everything is there for you so you can work at your pace. Once you get certified, you can then connect with other alumni in our alumni networks, and then you can begin your next evolution. And my friend, this number 6, your next evolution could start within a year. Think about next year at this time, you could be consulting with schools. You could be writing grants. You could be implementing a grant at your district. You could be working with another curriculum company to write arts integrated curriculum. You could be an instructional coach. You could be in your classroom and thriving and loving it again because you're able to use what you learned to blossom and deepen your own teaching practice. Think about the possibilities that are available. So if you're at all interested in arts integration certification, it is open now through February 26th. There are payment plans available. February 26th, by the way, friends, I'm recording this on February 20th. So we're 6 days away from closing this. And once it's closed, that's it. We only open enrollment twice a year. The next enrollment season isn't going to be until October. So make sure that if this is something that you want as a possibility for yourself, that you take a look at that now and get your application in before February 26th. We do have payment plans available. School purchase orders are accepted. And so if you're interested in that, head over to artsintegration.com/certification and all the details are there. Are there any questions tonight? I'm taking a look at my comments area. I'm not seeing any. But if you have a question, feel free to pop it into the comments area as I close out this evening. I hope that this careers training was helpful for you, that you can kind of see yourself in one of those 3 or maybe even the combinations. But the possibilities are so outstanding. And I keep thinking about how rapidly the world is changing with AI. The other AI is what I call it, the other AI, the artificial intelligence. How quickly technology is changing for us and how we're interacting with it. And I believe 100% that creativity is the superpower of the future. It is the thing that's going to give you the advantage when everybody else is still stuck with what's happening and change in the world, right? If you want to lead, if you want to make sure that you're on the cutting edge, that you have that competitive advantage, creativity is the superpower that we're going to need in the 21st century. And this program is going to help you cultivate it, develop it, expand it, and bring that into education, which is so needed right now. I cannot emphasize that enough. We need you and we need your creativity to build out the students of the future and help them to understand how to do this. So join us. Head over to artsintegration.com/certification. Get all the details. I will be back here for one last training on Saturday, this Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm going to be going into common misconceptions, questions, and answers for the program. The final Q&A before we get ready to close out certification enrollment for this spring. So I hope that I will see you there if you've got any questions. Otherwise, I would love to see your application come in. All right. Bye, everyone.